these bones live. You see they're dry. You see there's no marrow in the bone. You see they're scattered all over the valley. They ain't even full skeletons. I mean, the bones are scattered all over the valley. They're just bones. But answer me a question, Ezekiel. Can these bones live? Ezekiel answers the only way he knows how to answer. Lord, you know. Critical race theory was born out of critical legal theory. Am I teaching y'all something today? There emerged two common beliefs linking all critical race theories. First, white supremacy has subordinated black people and other people of color. That's just a fact. How in the world are you going to fight against that being taught in any school? White supremacy has subordinated black people and other people of color. That's a fact. Why don't you want that to be taught in school? You let your schools teach us that Columbus discovered America. That's a lie. You let your schools teach us that George Washington couldn't tell a lie. That's a lie. You let your schools teach us that some slave owners were beneficent and good slave owners. There were no good slave owners. Anybody who owned people was evil. That's a lie. You let your schools teach us that Abraham Lincoln was good for Negroes. No, Abraham Lincoln was trying to save the Union. And Abe Lincoln himself said if he could save the Union and keep black people in chains, he would do it. That's a lie. Come on, somebody. You let them teach us about a white Jesus. You let them teach us that Native Americans were the aggressors. Come on, somebody. That white folk had a manifest destiny and that the pilgrims were good and Native Americans. That's a lie. All day, every day, you let them teach us lies. All throughout my history in school, I was taught lies. But you got a problem with critical race theory because it teaches the truth that white supremacy has subordinated black people and people of color. The right to bear arms. Let me just back up a little bit and let me take you on back to the late 1960s when Ronald Reagan was the governor of California. And they were oppressing black folk, and a group of men and women known as the Black Panther Party decided that they were going to defend the rights of black folk. And the Black Panthers decided that the Second Amendment wasn't just for white folk. So they strapped themselves with guns and showed up at the Capitol in California. And when they saw them Negroes with guns, come on, somebody. That's why I say if you ever really want to get gun laws changed, just strap all these Negroes up. They'll change them laws before the week is over. When the Black Panthers, watch this, I want you to read, the California legislator passed what was called the Mulford Act. It was a gun control act that decided who could get guns, who couldn't get guns, what could be in your background, what couldn't be in your background. It was the first time in history that the National Rifle Association, the NRA, supported restrictive gun legislation, all because black folk had the nerve to get strapped. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, go get strapped. Amen, somebody. Y'all gonna say Bishop told us to get strapped. I said it. Go get strapped. It just got real quiet up in here. But y'all already know I'm a triple P. Amen. Y'all know what a triple P is, right? A pistol packing preacher. Amen, somebody. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. You've got a responsibility to go back to Lodabar. Your work's not done just because you made it to the palace. Oh, bless the name of the Lord. But you've got a responsibility to help somebody else make it across. Thank you, Jesus. Don't pull up the ladder because you climbed to the top. Don't blow up the bridge because you made your way across. Thank you, Jesus. But reach your hand back down the ladder and pull somebody else up out of Lodabar. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. That's the name of the Lord. Somebody got to tell themselves it's all right if you got it now. Just hold it for me. I'll be there to get it after a while. Oh, bless the name of the Lord. Thank you, Jesus. You've got to make up in your mind that what God has for me, it is for me. I might not have it right now. May not get it next week. You might try to stop me from getting it. But if God said it's mine, I want you to know after a while, I'm going to get what belongs to me. 90.7 WTCC. Good morning and welcome to another edition of the Spoken Word. I'm your host, Bishop Talbert Swan II, and as usual, we'll be telling it like it is through cultural idioms and nuances that shape the order, ethos, and chaos of the African American experience. Words have their own vitality. They shape their own consciousness and create their own context for interpreting social and spiritual reality. The spoken word contains the power to reshape the landscape of society. 3 minutes past the hour of 9 o'clock a.m. I want to thank Mr. Kenneth Barnett for bringing us up until the 9 o'clock hour with The Promise. You can hear The Promise every Monday morning from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., bringing you the best in gospel music. A good way to start out your Monday morning, a great way to start out your week. What a week it has been. Do me a favor, rep your city, rep your town. Let me know where you're chiming in from, those of you on social media. Go on, put it in there. I already see Philadelphia, Philly in the house. Houston is in the building. Union, New Jersey is up in the building. I see you, Brenda Ford. Good morning to you. Good morning to each and everybody who's up in the building. Come on here. Come through YouTube. Come through Facebook. Come through Instagram. I can't be on Instagram on my own account, so I had to use my burner. So anyway, I am on the gram. We'll see how long that lasts. But good morning to every one of you. Tell somebody the bishop is on the air. Do me a favor. Like, share, subscribe. Do all of that stuff. Richmond, hey, what's happening? I got a couple Houstons up in here. Houston be representing. Springfield, stand up, man. Y'all can't let Houston, out rep y'all. Come on, man. Okay, Springdale, Maryland. I see you, Springfield, Mass. Come on, stand up, Springfield. Greensboro, North Kakalaki, up in the building. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Spoken Word. Listen, today I'm going to be talking about America's tolerance of anti-Blackness. Being anti-LGBTQ will get you canceled in a heartbeat. Being anti-Jewish or perceived as anti-Semitic will get you canceled in a heartbeat. Being anti-Black, not so much. Not so much. And we're going to use what Kanye did over the weekend and such, just to prove a couple of points on that very note. Atlanta, Georgia is in the building. Cincinnati is in the building. Miami is in the building. All right, the gram is standing up. Stand up, Instagram. All right, they in the building. They in the building. Rep your city, rep your town. We're going to be talking about this tolerance of anti-Blackness. If you're in the Twitter space, you can put your request in. We're going to get this conversation crunk. Coming up at 10 o'clock is Justice and Flow. I don't know what First Lady has scheduled for Justice and Flow, so we're going to see when we get there. But stay tuned for Justice and Flow. Will be popping off today. Today is Columbus Day. Today is when a white man claimed to have discovered, and we celebrate a white man who supposedly discovered a land that was already occupied, a land that he thought was India. That's how terrible of a navigator he was. He was here and thought he was in India. That's the reason why Native Americans are called Indians, by the way. Did y'all know that? Because that clown thought he was actually in India, and he wasn't. But anyway, I got up this morning and went downstairs. And I noticed the door had not been open yet. And I said, wait a minute. That means my son is late for school. And I ran upstairs and, I guess me and my wife still have a 15-year-old. And saw he was still in the bed. And I'm like, okay, I got to get this boy up. And he's like, Dad, there's no school today. I'm like, well, what's today? This is how in tune I am to Columbus Day. What's today? It's Columbus Day. I'm like, oh, yeah, right. It's Columbus Day. Anyway, we're talking about anti-Blackness on Columbus Day. If anybody knew anything about being anti-Black, it was Chris Columbus and his compadres. Rep your city, rep your town. I see Kansas City, Missouri. Good morning. Kansas City is in the building. Atlanta in the building. Who else is up in here? Ludlow, Massachusetts is in the spot. All right. Listen, we're going to take a short music break and we'll be right back with our conversation. Tell somebody the bishop is on the air right now and we're going to get it crunk talking about all this anti-Blackness that gets tolerated while everything else gets you canceled. We'll be right back.
Grow, but the essence of growth has changed. The being in the road will be the end of the road if you refuse to change. Reach a little higher, dig a little deeper, go a little further, Come on. Reach a little higher, come on, yeah. Dig a little deeper, go a little further, Come on, but don't stop. The essence of life is growth, but the essence of growth is change. The being in the road will be the end of the road if you refuse to change. Your life will never change until you get disgusted with where you are. Whatever you don't hate is what you tolerate. You must learn from the past, plan for the future, and live for today. For it is your daily routine that determines your success or failure in life. It's the choices that you have made up until this point that will determine the rest of your life. So break the cycle that doing enough is simply good enough. You only get out what you put in, so don't settle for the crumbs when you can have a whole loaf. So push yourself beyond your limitations. Come on. Reach a little higher. Reach a little higher. Dig a little deeper. Dig a little deeper. Go a little further. Don't stop. Don't stop. Come on. Don't stop. Reach a little higher. Reach a little higher. Dig a little deeper. Dig a little deeper. Go a little further. Go a little further. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. So you gotta break the routine of trying to beat the system. Manipulators will always try to bypass the process for the quick progress. There are no shortcuts to success. There are no elevators to the top. You gotta take it one step at a time. You gotta break the routine of allowing others to get into your head to control who you are and where you're going. You see, when you're about the positive, you're gonna always have haters. But don't let your haters push you down, let your haters push you forward to the next level. So when people show you who they really are, don't perceive them to be something else that they're not. See, a zebra does not change his stripes. So you gotta keep pushing yourself to the next level. Yeah, there you go. Come on. Be a little deeper. Come on. Yeah. Go a little further. Go a little further. Don't stop. Come on. Don't stop. Come on. Yeah. Reach a little higher. Reach a little higher. Be a little deeper. Dig a little deeper. Go a little further. Go a little further. Don't stop. Come on. Don't stop. Come on. You got to understand the greatness is the nature that you were born out of. You'll never discover your greatness without hard work and dedication. Greatness says more about who you are and what you expect for yourself. And greatness will always attract greatness. Show me your friends and I'll show you the future. You're just a step away. You're just a step away. You're just a step away. Don't ever give up. Come on. You're just a step away. You're almost there. Come on. You gotta push yourself beyond your limitations.
I look in the mirror and I like what I see. A strong, beautiful black woman staring back at me. One who's seen a lot of pain and had her share of sorrow, but who never gave up hope for a brighter tomorrow. I've been lied to, cheated on, stolen from, and hit. But it just made me stronger, and I refuse to quit. That's right. And though I've been tempted, I refuse to stoop to their level. Don't go down. I rose above that nonsense and made a liar of the devil. All right, now. The devil who said I wasn't good enough, cute enough, or worthy of love, I kicked his butt with divine power from above. Power that says I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me and brought me out of darkness so that I could see that I'm smart, I'm beautiful, I'm a child of the King. Abundant love for me he came to bring. Oh yes, when I look in the mirror, I love what I see. She's looking good. That strong, beautiful black woman, that woman is me.
All right, 90.7 WTCC. Good morning to everybody in the Pioneer Valley, Springfield, all over Massachusetts, Vermont, Connecticut, wherever you are in the valley. Good morning to you. Do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, let somebody know the bishop is on the air. Once again, rep your city, rep your town. Let me know where you're chiming in from, what part of the nation and the world are you? I see you, India, from the field. Thank you for the field representing. You know what? I ain't gonna say nothing to you, Jules Howard, about my Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, listen, man. It's already enough that we don't go there. Just don't. Anyway, good morning, baby girl. My daughter Whitney from the Shy. I assume my grandbabies must be out of school too, since it's Columbus Day. Oh boy. Anyway, let somebody know Bishop is on the air. We talking about this anti-blackness. Now let's just recap. Let's just recap. Give you a little bit of background. Then we're going to recap some of the things that have happened over the past week to kind of make the case. The slaying of black bodies, the subjugation of black people, all of the recent lynchings that have taken place, Rashard Brooks, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and so many others, basically holds up a mirror to America's original sin of white supremacy and racism. But it also reinforces the reality that not a whole lot has actually changed. And I know people are going to say, well, Bishop, there's been a lot of progress. You can't say there hasn't been progress. When it comes to anti-blackness, not a lot has changed. The forms it has taken has mildly shifted. But really, we've had 400 years of racial oppression that just continue in these yet to be United States of America. And as a black person, I know firsthand that the racism I experience is different from the racism faced by other so-called people of color. It's different. And people try to lump racism all into one thing, which is why they always try to compare the black experience, compare their experience to the black experience. They want to lump us in the same bucket. The LGBTQ community, the Asian community, the Latino community, and every other community. But our experience is different. And looking at history allows me to make sense of why this is the case. And so 600 years after Europeans first set foot on the continent of Africa to profit from the exclusive chattel slavery of black bodies, I understand that anti-blackness is unique from other forms of racism. And what is surprising, not so much white folk, but other so-called people of color, or I prefer to call them non-white people, don't seem to understand this reality. And as a result of my blackness, the racism I experience will always be different, and in many ways worse than what other communities of color encounter. And the reason for this is anti-black racism. Well, Bishop Swan, what is anti-black racism? If you go to my Twitter page, not on Twitter, go there and follow. But if you go there, I tweeted something out, and I said to the non-melanated community that when black people are having a conversation with other black people or about other black people regarding what affects black people, we don't want your white opinion. In other words, mind your business. That you don't have to interject yourself and center yourself into every conversation, as if every conversation needs to be about you. Go to that tweet right now, and it's astounding the number of white folk who are crying, whining, cussing, threatening under that tweet, because they feel like, as white people, we should be able to chime in on anything we want. How dare you tell us to mind our business? Everything is our business. And I mean, they are literally going in and having a temper tantrum because I told them to mind their business. So much to the point they're calling my church and making death threats and racist calls. Now, I call whiteness a sickness. All that's so racist. Anytime you call a church, think about this for a minute. Anytime you call a church because you don't like what a black man tweeted and threatened to kill him, that's sickness. Whiteness is a sickness. Now notice I said whiteness. I didn't say being white is a sickness. There's a difference between being white and whiteness. When I speak of whiteness, I'm speaking synonymous with white supremacy, with the notion that because of the color of my skin, because of the lack of melanin in my skin, I am superior to everyone else. And the subjugation of everyone who does not look like me is the divine order. That's the sickness of whiteness. When you can't scroll past what a black man says that you disagree with and keep it moving. When you have to literally jump on Google and look me up on Google and find out where my church is and find the telephone number to my church and take the time to call my church to threaten to murder me over a tweet, you're sick. Whiteness is a sickness. That's sick. And that's all fueled by anti-black racism. It is a specific kind of racial prejudice directed towards black people. It devalues blackness. It systemically marginalizes black people. Marginalizes the issues that affect us and the institutions that have been created to support us. The first form of anti-blackness is overt racism, which is upheld by covert, structural, and systemic racism that categorically predetermines the socioeconomic status of black people in this nation. The second form of anti-blackness is unethical disregard for black people, as seen in the cases of police or civilian brutality against black bodies, the extrajudicial murder of black people by law enforcement, and the upholding of those legalized lynchings by the criminal justice system. This is all anti-blackness. People want to say, oh, well, there have been slaves all over. So many other people have been slaves. Blah, stop it. No one has ever experienced the form of chattel slavery that black people experienced. Back in the 1400s, when the Portuguese enslaved only Africans, that's when they coined the term Negro. The word was translated as black and used to describe people living in Africa. At that time, people didn't see themselves as belonging to the same race as all others in that region. They also didn't see themselves as belonging to an inferior social group. But the Portuguese described the people living on the continent as uncivilized and attempted to map this lie to the physical attributes of their blackness. And while the term white was not formally named at that time, the Portuguese and other European colonizers later became identified under the umbrella of white and civilized by virtue of not being labeled black and uncivilized. This justified the transatlantic slave trade of black people, a history that is still with us today.
So in short, blackness is the antithesis of whiteness. Definition of white during the period of U.S. chattel slavery went so far as to specify that a white person did not have a drop of black blood. And that's why you had the one drop rule, that if you had a drop of black blood, you were black. So it would make sense that the direct opposite of whiteness, the antithesis of whiteness, is blackness. And the policies designed to uphold white supremacy have also been the policies that sought, in many ways, and still seek to harm blackness. Suppression of black people directly maintains the privilege, the so-called purity, and the power of white people. And this is one of the reasons that on a spectrum of white to black, people generally experience more power and privilege the closer in proximity to whiteness they are, and less power and privilege the closer in proximity to blackness they are. That's why so many Latinos, Cubans, and others try to make sure that they align themselves with whiteness instead of black. This is seen in the construction of systemic racism, where policies were deliberately designed to oppress black people while centering and upholding whiteness. This was the case with U.S. chattel slavery, with sharecropping, with Jim Crow, with the New Deal legislation, with redlining, with the separate but equal doctrine, the over-policing and mass incarceration, employment discrimination, voter disenfranchisement, many other issues that still are with us today. These policies are anti-black in their nature. They were designed to target the black community and to center white. Now, let's look at what happened over this past week. When Kanye West was wearing a White Lives Matter shirt, Kanye West went on Tucker Carlson's show on Fox News, went to talk to a white supremacist on a white supremacist so-called news network, and further trashed and castigated black people. And Kanye was all over Instagram, sharing his private text message with Diddy and other folks. And as vile as he was in many of those text messages, calling Diddy a nigga, and other people, nigga this, nigga that, nigga the other. Notice, there was no big outcry from the white community in general. I'm not saying no white folks had a problem with it, but there was no overwhelming outcry from white America. There was no overwhelming outcry from Jewish America. There was no restrictions to his account, to his social media account on Instagram, where he was posting all of this vitriolic stuff against black people. No action taken whatsoever, because it's okay to spew anti-black vitriol. It's okay for white folks to do it. It's okay for black people to do it. It's okay for Latinos to do it. It's okay for Asians to do it. It doesn't matter what your ethnicity, your nationality, your skin tone is. If you spew anti-blackness, they don't bother you. You can nigga all day long on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, and nothing happens to you, because there is a tolerance of anti-blackness. Remember when Beyonce edited one of her songs, her recent her recent project that came out. There was an outcry because she used the word spaz. And the disabled community, disabled activists, said it was offensive to disabled Americans because the word spaz has a negative connotation with that community. So she changed the music, took that out. Now, if you go to her remix, the remix of Savage with Megan Thee Stallion, and they used the word nigga, there was no change to that. You know, you can call us niggas and everything else in music all day long. Nobody's looking for you to edit your music. But when the disabled community was offended, there was a rush to change it. When Kanye was disrespecting black people, not a big deal. And there have been some Jewish folks who tried to say I was being anti-Semitic by bringing up this disparity. No, a disparity is a disparity. It's the reality. As soon as Kanye offended the Jewish community, soon as he offended the Jewish community, Instagram restricted his account. Like that. He had spent days castigating black people. Nigga this, nigga that, nigga the other. Nothing. As soon like that as he offended the Jewish community, IG said nope, restricted his account. He then got on Twitter, went off on Mark Zuckerberg, CEO, founder of Facebook. It was like, Mark, how you gonna kick me off Instagram? They also own Instagram. How you gonna kick me off Instagram? So he switched to Twitter. And then on Twitter, he says, you know, I'm sleepy right now, but tomorrow I'm going DEFCON 3, DEATH, Con 3, even though it's DEFCON, but we ain't gonna get into that. DEF, anyway. I'm going DEFCON 3 on the Jews. Tomorrow I'm going DEFCON 3 on the Jews. It was more to that than the tweet, but that's what he did. There was an outrage. White folks of all religious persuasions, except for your conservative evangelicals. Anyway, black folk outraged. This is anti-Semitic. Twitter removed the tweet like that. Gone. Can't find it. Gone. Now, Twitter removed the tweet that said, I'm going to go DEFCON 3 on the Jewish community. Go on Twitter right now. Some of you who can multitask, who can watch me and multitask. Just do a search for nigga. All forms, with the ER, with the A, whatever. Just do a search for nigga. And see the hundreds of thousands of tweets that are calling black people niggers that are still there on Twitter. But when Kanye said, I'm going DEFCON 3 on the Jewish community, bam! It was removed. Why? Anti-blackness is tolerated. Tolerate. Anti-Jewishness, anti-LGBTQ, it's your cancer. Anti-blackness is tolerated all day, every single day. Then you have folk like Sarah Silverman, comedian, actor, who's gone off about nobody is condemning Kanye for being anti-Jewish, which is a lie, because he is being dragged. But Sarah Silverman is the one who wore blackface, who did skits using the word nigger with the hard ER. That's Sarah Silverman. I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. It's not necessarily that I disagree with you that Kanye should be condemned, but you're not the one that need to be on here, talking about, Kanye. Why y'all ain't saying nothing about Kanye? I mean, like, really? Like, you? Are you really on here saying that? It's blackface. It's amazing the level of hypocrisy. I mean, and I gotta play this. Because just the caucasity of Sarah. Let me. I think it's on my gram. Let me pull up my gram real quick. Sarah Silverman having the caucasity to talk about Ye, and condemning folk for not being forceful enough in condemning him. When she sits idly by and never lends her considerable platform or her voice when people are anti-black. Let me find it here. And you go to my Twitter account, you need to see the visual, because what we have there is side by side a video of her using the N-word, and on the other side is a picture of her in blackface. But she's complaining that not enough people are condemning Kanye about being anti-Jewish when she's spent a career being anti-black. It's amazing to me. Listen to this.
Maybe it's like when black guys call each other niggers.
Yeah, let's hear it again. Let's hear it again.
Maybe it's like when black guys call each other niggers.
Yeah, that's Sarah Silverman. It's okay to do jokes and stuff and call us niggers and to wear blackface. How dare you all not condemn Kanye for offending me? Because I'm a Jew. Oh, man. Once again, why is that? Because anti-blackness is always tolerated. It's always tolerated. Let me get some folks up in the place on in the Twitter space. Ramon, you're in the Twitter space. Holler at me.
Good morning, Bishop.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing perfect. I just wanted to talk about a subject that I've been having a lecture on, and it's called Bacon's Rebellion.
All right.
And it started in 1675, and it's when poor whites and blacks got together, and they pretty much had a rebellion against the 1% and the governor of Virginia, and they beat him. And so after that, they decided that they needed to separate blacks and whites. So after that, that's when the slave codes came up. And so we were deemed slaves for life. So that's when the anti-blackness set in, because they gave poor whites land, they gave them everything. And us, we were slaves for life. And you can go back and you can look at Bacon's Rebellion, and you can see Donald Trump did Nathaniel Bacon's speech basically word for word. And this was 1675. And I just wanted to put that out there. I need people to look up Bacon's Rebellion, because it affected us, and it still affects us to this day.
Absolutely.
And it propelled other groups to also be against us, because with the thing with Bacon's Rebellion, the blacks and whites, they were against the Native Americans because they promised the free blacks and the indentured servants that were black, they promised them land too. But they saw the bigness of it, the 1%. They saw the bigness of it, that if these people ever got together ever again, they could topple the government. So that's when the Herring Vote democracy became law in this country. Well, and the Herring Vote democracy is that the poorest, most stupidest white person is superior to the most wealthiest, educated black person.
Absolutely.
And that stands across the board.
And that's what Trump used to catapult him into the presidency, even though his policies did not benefit most white folk.
Yes.
His rhetoric resonated with their bigotry.
Yes.
And so they were more concerned about their whiteness than they were about whether or not this man would be a good president for them.
That is called the Herring Vote democracy. And that started in 1676.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, sis.
And the slave trade was all
educating us today. Good stuff. Appreciate your contribution. Let me get La Negres up in here. La Negres, you got the microphone. Holla at me. (413-337-1867). La Negres, unmute your mic. We got to move on. There you go.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, Bishop. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for the message today. Absolutely. I would like to just point out what's going on with the Los Angeles City Council, where you had 3 city council members make disparaging remarks about a black adopted child of white members. Listen, there's only black and white. The other ethnic groups, such as the Hispanics, they side with whiteness because they want to be in close proximity to whiteness. And that's a clear-cut example of how there's no more black and brown coalition, never was, never will be, so long as you have Hispanics who continuously side with the white agenda for their own benefit.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I did a program before and continue to talk about the fact that anti-blackness is global. It is not just perpetuated by white folks. It is perpetuated by non-white folks across the globe. And there's a high level of anti-blackness in the Latino community, as is evidenced by this case in Los Angeles, where the president of the Los Angeles City Council called someone's black child a monkey. You know, that anti-blackness is pervasive in Latino community, in Asian community. in Indian communities, in Native American communities, in all kinds of non-white communities. That's why I say that there's a distinct difference between racism that other non-white folks face and anti-black racism that we face all the time. More than 400 years of unresolved anti-black policies is the reason we see the black community experiencing the highest levels of police brutality, the most brutal forms of anti-black racism, historical lynching that continues even to this day. Because what happened to George Floyd, Rashard Brooks, and others, those were lynchings. Those were lynchings. It's not something that ended in the 50s and 60s. And once again, I said, we see the criminal justice or the criminal injustice system complicit in what happens to black people even today. So that's why we don't want to hear you trying to make these comparisons. Talk about your own struggle, talk about your own experience, but don't try to act like it's one and the same with what black people have faced historically or what we continue to face even today. And then don't get fooled. Don't get fooled by so-called allyship. I had someone say to me this weekend, and I was running away our allies. Because see, white folks want you to deal gingerly with the issue of white supremacy and anti-black racism. They don't want to be offended by your words, by your rhetoric. They could care less that you're being affected by systemic racism. They just don't want to be offended by your rhetoric when you talk about it. So they say things to me like, you're running away your allies. Well, if you mad because of something I said, because you feel like I said it too harshly, and you're going to decide I'm not going to fight against anti-black injustice anymore because I got offended, you were never an ally to begin with. And when I say don't be fooled, a lot of these folks, they were never against injustice. See, the difference between white so-called allies and us is I can't opt out of the struggle. White folk can jump in and jump out like a game of double dutch. When the protests were going on after the murder of George Floyd, they all jumped in. As soon as all the Democrats got elected, all these liberal white allies and resistors, they jumped back out. Where's all of that allyship today? Where are all them white folks that stood next to y'all when you were protesting? Where are they at now? Where are their voices now? When you criticize this Democrat administration like you criticized the Republican one that was before them, where are they? They're telling you to shut up, be quiet. Just shut up and vote. When you say, hey, wait a minute. Hold up. The Biden administration is using the same racist policy that Trump used to deport Haitians. Matter of fact, he deported more Haitians in 1 year than the last 4 presidents combined. Oh, shut up. Be quiet. Wait, hold up. If it was racist when Trump was doing it, and Trump only deported 6,500 Haitians compared to 35,000 that Biden deported in his first year. How in the world is it going to be racist when Trump is doing it and not be racist when Biden is doing it 10 times worse than Trump ever did it? Because these folks were never anti-injustice. They were never anti-white supremacy. They were anti-Trump. And so if the George Floyd protest were going to make Trump look bad, they were all in. They were all in. But if conversations about anti-black racism gonna make their guy look bad, they're like, oh, no, shut up. Be quiet. You won't have any of that. So don't get fooled. Don't be fooled. Most of these folks are not your allies. They're not your friend. They're not on your side. Like the sister said, there is no black-brown coalition. Everybody wants to be black when it comes to our culture, when it comes to our gifts, our talents, our creativity. They want to be black when it comes to our music, our dancing, our ingenuity, our brilliance. They don't want to be black when the cops. They don't want to be black, on their jobs when they know black people are being mistreated. They don't want to be black in the store and when they're being profiled and followed around and all. They don't want to be black then. They want to be selectively black. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Oh, I just wanted to say hello. I just saw what you had to say about Candace Owens, and I just dialed the number, so I might be off target in terms of what you're talking about.
So you weren't listening to the radio program?
No, I saw I'm on your Facebook, and I didn't know if you were still on or what, so I decided to call.
Okay, I'm still on, and what do you want to say?
Oh, I appreciated your comments about Candace Owens and the white guy on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
But like I said, if it's not appropriate for the content of the show.
No, go right ahead. That's up to Allie. I'm talking about anti-blackness, and even though she's black, Candace is definitely anti-black.
Well, let me share this with you. I've had a big history of working with the National Office of the NAACP. I've talked to a couple of times. I've written about Tony Evans, and I was concerned about the loss of all lives, but especially about Black lives in the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, and what people don't know, even around Hitler, there were Jewish people.
Oh, absolutely. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, he had Jewish friends. Let's not forget that.
You're absolutely right. Who went along with what he was doing, unfortunately.
Well, a lot of people went along with what he was doing, and he diminished the Jewish people very quickly. And that's what's happening to black people in Florida with the Woke Act in Florida. And people have to learn the whole truth, not just pieces of the truth. And this is an important piece, right? In addition to that, when Hitler marched into Austria after his army took over, he went to his hometown of Linz. He visited a Jewish doctor whose sign was desecrated by people, and he had the Gestapo clean off the sign. This is crazy, because this was the doctor that helped his mother as she was fighting cancer around the time of World War I. So he had a heart for that doctor, but he didn't have a good heart for the Jews and other people, including, there were homosexuals in the concentration camp. There were black people in the concentration camps. And of course, black people were made to sit in the back of the bus in those days. In Germany and even in France when they occupied it,
Yeah.
So, I really didn't come prepared, to talk on your show, but I really appreciate, that you urged me, to speak out, and I thank you. I do want to communicate with you more. I did write an article about Kanye West and P. Diddy, which I published, and it goes to the White House. And I put them into this setting in the 1940s with the Breakfast Club. And in the very opening scene, there was a takeover of the United States by Nazis, and the Nazi swastika was placed on the Lincoln Memorial, which we know has a rich history, and the Washington Memorial, as Nazis were actually trying to take over the United States back then. So there's so much more for people to learn, and I really wanted to thank you, for having this dialogue with people and giving me this opportunity. Okay.
All right. Appreciate the call. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
5 minutes, and I got to move into justice and flow. I want to remind those of you listening, this is probably the last week you're going to be able to purchase a ticket to the NAACP Freedom Fund. I'm certain that we're going to sell out of the in-person tickets before this week is out. So once again, you can go to bit.ly. Somebody will put that in the comment section. bit.ly/104 Freedom Fund. bit.ly/104 Freedom Fund. Mr. Vashti McKenzie is our guest. And so we want you to be there in the place. She'll be here in person. They're in-person tickets and they're virtual tickets. Let's get it. We've been talking about the tolerance of anti-blackness. Let me get Dr. Makoma Ketch. I hope I pronounced it right, but if not, you'll correct me. Good morning, doctor. You're in the place. You're in the Twitter space. Dr. M. I'll just say Dr. M. Dr. M, you got the mic. Unmute your mic and holler at your boy. All right. Dr. M is having some trouble. I don't know if Dr. M is hearing me or not. I'm trying to get Dr. M up in here. Once again, 413-337-1867. 3 minutes we'll be on with Justice and Flow. Like I said, I don't know what First Lady's got up her sleeve, but she apparently has a show scheduled. Something. So stay tuned. Those of you on the social media space, those of you who are listening over WTCC, you can definitely switch over to Facebook and YouTube and join us on Justice and Flow. Remember, I'll be back with you on Friday on the Black Love Experience at 9 a.m. Friday at 9 a.m. on the Black Love Experience. So definitely stay tuned for that as well. And if you're looking for a place to worship, remember, check us out at Spring of Hope Church of God in Christ, 35 Alden Street, Springfield, Massachusetts, 11 o'clock a.m. on Sundays in the sanctuary. Also streaming live for those who are not in the 413. Those in the 413, come on down. Be with us in the sanctuary at 11 o'clock a.m. All right, we're going to move and transition out of the spoken word and into the Justice and Flow after show. All right. So listen, friends, those of you who are with me online here, stay with us. We're going to come right back. Those of you on the radio, until the next time I talk to you and you talk to me, always remember God loves you, and so do I. Hold tight. We'll be right back.
Good morning, everybody.
Is that cousin Hal?
Yes.
Hi, good morning, cousin Hal.
Good morning. Purchase the theme music. Oh, that must be you talking about Bishop's theme music. I was gonna say to you that we need to talk to Micah about our theme music because I do. I want some African drums and some bass in our music too. Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
What they say about theme music?
Somebody wants to know where they can purchase the theme music.
Oh, you can go
I'm
on.
assuming for your program.
Go on anywhere that music is streamed. Go on Spotify or Apple Music. Look up Bishop Talbert Swan. It's called The Bishop Speaks, and you can download it, or you can add it to your playlist or whatever, or you can go on iTunes and pay for it as well. So it's available.
Yeah. And our son, our 15-year-old, created the intro and outro to the Justice and Flow show. But we were going to be going to him and asking him to kind of upgrade it a little bit more because I like the African drums. I like the Black Power sound, and certainly a little bit more bass, does me some good too. Hey, baby. Hey, Wit. Good morning, everybody. I hope y'all feeling good out there on this Monday morning on Indigenous People Day. We don't call it Columbus Day. We don't celebrate Columbus. We celebrate natives. We celebrate the indigenous people, which typically are Black people like us, Black and brown people, people of color. Typically, depends on where you are, but certainly it's Indigenous People Day. So happy Indigenous People Day to all the natives, to all the heirs of the natives out there.
All right, what's happening today? I see some guests in the backstage.
Yeah, I'm excited about today. We have two guests today. But today, one of our guests, these are two of my favorite people. I must say that. Two of my favorite people, they're my friends, but definitely leaders in the community. But Ayana is going to be here with us to give a special announcement from Parent Villages. And then we also have a recurring guest. Queen Tanisha Arena is back with us today, y'all. But listen, we're going to have the phone lines open today. We're going to continue the discussion. We're going to have some hot topic discussions, and we're just going to see, what the show pans out to be. Hopefully it'll be inspirational, certainly informative, but hopefully it'll end up being a good way to start out your week this week. A continuation of a good way to start out your week this week. And I wanted to say thank you, Bishop, for your show this morning. Anytime you're talking about anti-Blackness, I've been saying that for a long time, ever since, well, before I started coming onto the show with you. I had this thing that I was saying, which was, everybody is real good with Black folks being on the bottom. Every other group is real good with Black folks being on the bottom. But anyway, I got some things that I wanted to share with you, some experiences that I had this week out with my sons, and also going to the grocery store, that I think also speaks to this anti-Blackness attitude that we have to live with every day. But you can bring our guests up. We have Queen Ayana Crawford joining us today from Parent Villages. And we also have Tanisha Arena joining us today from a Rise for Social Justice here in Springfield, Massachusetts.
All right.
Hey, Queen.
Good morning. Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are y'all?
Good. I gotta see what's on the sweatshirt.
This is intentional. It says I love being a Black woman.
Listen, always making a statement. Let me show mine.
Thank you.
Right.
There you go. Yep.
Let me show mine. Black.
Listen,
you always on the t-shirt. Well, it's a sweatshirt, but you always on the t-shirt game. I always try to be on mine too. You certainly help me to elevate in that way, so I thank God for that. I do. I thank God for that. We're always making a statement, even when we don't have to open our mouth. We're always making a statement. Hey, Ayana, how you doing? We can't hear you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm doing well.
Good
morning, Bishop. Good morning, Tanisha.
Good morning.
One. Excited to be here. Such a wonderful day.
Yeah, it is a wonderful day, right? I'm feeling real good in my spirit. This morning. Well, anytime I'm able to have a conversation with my girls, I start to, feel real good, So even though we're in the midst of, still struggling with some things, it's moments like this that certainly, help us, right? Help us to get kind of through the week or to get through the day. Anyway, so Ayana, you're more than welcome to stay as long as you want. But I did want to bring a representative onto the show today, Tanisha, to make a special announcement about the open house event that Parent Villages will be conducting on Friday, October 15th. Saturday, October 15th. So if you can, Ayana, if you can tell us about that event, and what's happening and what's going on, and give us all the information that you're here to share today.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you for this gracious invite. Our fearless leader, who is LaTonya Naylor, as you know, school committee woman, is certainly traveling. And so she would have been here. And so I am in her stay. And so I want to sort of say shout out to her and our entire team for Parent Villages and our board of directors, our founders, Cindy Gaynor, Paige Monroe, and of course, LaTonya Naylor, for this opportunity to come on your show today, Justice and Flow. And certainly excited to be with Tanisha as well, who is an amazing powerhouse, has always got something prolific to say, is meaningful and strikes a chord with a lot of different folks around, not only here, but certainly regionally and internationally. So I thank you, Tanisha, publicly for your words and your steadfastness in what you do to make space and make space palpable and to make space relative to the existence and the lived existence of Black women here in particularly. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was on my spirit.
What,
I don't know. That was on my.
I thank you for a better intro than I did. I thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you. So tell us about the open house, Queen. Tell us about the open house.
Yes, ma'am. So as folks know, Parent Villages is going into our 5th year, and we have secured a beautiful building, and we want to share that opportunity with everyone. So we're calling it an open house, but it's also a ribbon cutting of our new office space, of our new programs, of our official staffers who are doing an extraordinary job. I'm just so elated to hear all the wonderful, great things that our staff is doing under the leadership of LaTonya Naylor. And so on this Saturday, October 15th, from 1 to about 3, we're inviting community leaders, we're inviting elected officials, the community, our partners to come out and hear about the great work that the staff is doing. And so we're excited. We're going to have a reception afterwards, some speaking folks that will be able to talk a little bit about the work that not only that we're doing, but what we're doing in partnership with them. And so just excited. We're excited to have Lacey Whitfield, who will be with us, sharing a proclamation, Representative Ramos, who will be sharing a citation, host of other officials that will just be sharing and celebrating and the work that Parent Villages has been doing. We started in 2018, February 16th to be exact. We knew that there was an issue with kindergartners, that 97% of our kindergartners that enter into kindergarten are not prepared. And so LaTonya had that statistic. She brought it to myself, Cindy Gaynor, Paige Monroe, and said, what are we going to do? And so from that information that she brought, we decided as a collective body of women, of mothers that have children in the system, that we needed to do something and we needed to involve our parents. And so Parent Villages birthed of the idea that our kindergartners were not prepared, and we were not happy with that. And so again, we're excited about this open house that's going to also share some of the other programs that we have that we're going to be working with the community on. And we're just excited because this work has so many different layers to it, as you know, as a mother, as a community, as a first lady, that we hit every aspect of our life in a very different way, but we have to do it in a proactive way. We can't always be on the sidelines saying, what is someone else going to do? No, it is us to do things that we are doing for our community, our children, and our families. And so Parent Villages is that community connector, and we're here to stay, and we're excited to do this work. So thank you so very much for this opportunity. And I look forward to seeing everyone on Saturday, October 15th from 1 to 3. We're going to be 640 Page Boulevard. That's our new location, 640 Page Boulevard. And we're excited, and we want to see everyone there just to learn more about Parent Villages, to learn about our programs, and to learn about ways that you, your listening audience, can also partner with us, whether it be by volunteering, whether it be by being with an organization that you are affiliated with. We want to be that community connector. We want to be that bridge for our families. We want to let our families know that people care, and people are here to step up and do whatever they can so that we can have a wonderful city that has productive people doing wonderful work. So again, we'll see you all on Saturday, October 15th at 1 o'clock. We are excited to have you, and we look forward.
Yes. So please come out, everybody. Come out. If you are a parent or a guardian, and you have students, especially in the Springfield Public School System, and you need just some support, and you need a stable resource, Parent Villages is for you. And you can find your way, to kind of fit in to where, you can be a supporter. And also that's reciprocated by you being able to access all of the programs that Parent Villages is in the development of or already have certainly started. Parent Villages I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Sister Ayana, you're a founding member too, right? Aren't you a founding member?
I am. Yes, I am.
Yes. Okay. So you're a founding member of Parent Villages as well. So you've been there. You've been there from the very beginning. So you know the vision, and you know the vision very well. And let me tell you, I came along, after Parent Villages had started, but I was blown away with what you ladies were doing and the impact, and certainly the potential that it has. So I am so happy that it's grown into a full-fledged organization, and have funding resources attached to it now, so that you can do even more. And so I'm just so happy about the evolution of Parent Villages. And I'm not just saying this because I've been asked to sign on as a staff member, as a licensed mental health counselor, which I'm so happy to do. I'm so happy to do, but I'm so proud of the vision and the work of this program. So I'm asking everybody who needs a support, and I think that we all do in some kind of way. We all do. Please come by, get the information. Get the information. Ask some questions. But whatever you do, come out and get the information so that you can have that resource, kind of in your back pocket when you need us. Okay, when you need us. So thank you, Sister Ayana. Any parting words that you want to give before we kind of transition into another part of the show today?
Absolutely. I want to say, when we talk about organizations and we talk about development and the origins of organizations, you really have to have a visionary, right?
Yes.
And I want to shout out LaTonya Naylor. She is a visionary from her core. She is a visionary from her understanding on the plight of our people and looking for the future. And so this organization has the potential to be international and global, that we're not just going to be here in Springfield. Our vision is beyond Springfield. And so we want to be that organization that becomes the catalyst for change in how our parents engage in our school systems, right? And so with that vision became a reality from the visionary, our school committee woman, Miss LaTonya. And so we are on a pathway, we are on a direction to change the trajectory of how our parents engage in our schools, how our parents engage in our communities, and how our children will achieve, and they will. And so we are excited to be at the helm of the transformation of what and how we're going to engage with our parents. And so I thank you, Lady Swan. Thank you, Tanisha,
I love it.
For this opportunity.
Yeah.
We are here for
the woman
everyone.
king. The woman king. Yeah,
I love it. Everyone. We are here. And so I just want to remind everyone again, October 15th at 1:00, we want to see you in the building at 640 Page Boulevard. We are going to be there to share opportunities about how do you engage. And thank you, Lady Swan, for coming on and partnering with us and being our licensed mental health social worker to help us to do this work. And so we're excited, and we just want to do this work in a humble heart and a very listening ear to hear exactly what the needs are. We don't claim to know everything, but if we're here, we want you to let us know, how can we partner with you? How can we do better? And so we want to be a partner. And that's what our vision is from our visionary, Miss LaTonya Naylor. And a shout out to our board of directors. We have Tiffany. We also have Paige Monroe. We have Latasha. And we also have our treasurer, who I always forget how to say her name. Apologize publicly, but we have a phenomenal board of directors who are on the ground doing work, and I would be remiss if I didn't shout them out too, because they've been doing the work, they've been on the ground, and they have gotten us to this point. And so Cindy Gaynor, Paige Monroe, Latonia, and all of our board of directors, and we are a new male board of directors. And so once he's situated, we'll be able to announce him officially. So with that being said, thank you so very much. And I can't wait to hear the rest of the program.
Oh, thank you. And like I said, you're welcome to stay. Listen, Brother Grady just reminded me of something. So we didn't give the contact information to Parent Villages. So the contact information, the phone number is 413-301-8121. And you can email info@parentvillages.org. info@parentvillages.org. Okay. And they're also on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Okay. So they're also on the social media streams. All right. You do need to register for the event. It's free, of course, but they just want to know how many people to prepare food for, refreshments for. So please go to 413-301-8121 or info@parentvillages.org and register also for the event. But that's also the information to Parent Villages as well, Brother Grady. And thank you for reminding us of giving out the contact information. So again, thank you, Sister Ayana. Now we're going to transition and we're going to have a conversation today. It's so much been going on. Bishop said at the top of his show, he was like, wow, this has been a crazy week. I think every week has been a crazy week, honestly. You know, it's so many things though, Queen, that so many experiences that I had last week that I really took notice of. And maybe, you know, I'm observing a little bit more, and I'm taking the time to observe a little bit more intentionally, because of, you know, some other things that are, you know, kind of happening, in terms of certainly, you know, this anti-Blackness attitude, and you know, just this climate of racial, I don't know, racial intolerance and racial, you know, just a poor attitude toward Black people in general. So I went to the grocery store. I just wanted to tell you about this and we can start having some conversation, right? So I went to the grocery store. I went to Big Y in Wilbraham. Yeah, I'm going to call it out. So I went to Big Y in Wilbraham. I never thought about it, but the Big Y in Wilbraham is actually closer to me, closer to where I live, right? And for those of you who are listening, don't know what Big Y is, it's a grocery store. You know, it's a grocery. It's a grocer, you know, so it's a grocery store. So it's closer to where I live, and I had to ask myself, why don't I ever go to the close Big Y? I always go to the one that's a little bit further away. And so one of the things I said to myself, I said, I go to the one that's further away because I feel more comfortable in that one.
Explain.
So it's in Springfield. The one that's further away is in Springfield. The one that's closer to me is in Wilbraham. So it's not a lot of us that go there, because it's not a lot of us that live there in Wilbraham. So that was one thought that I had. I never thought about it before, but you know, that was one thought that I had. But I was kind of in this position of where I was working and I didn't have a lot of time, but I needed to go to the grocery store because I wanted to have dinner done for my son, you know, whatever. And I had a little bit of time, so I needed to go to the closer grocer. So I went to the closer grocer. The first thing that I saw was a police car outside, and while I was walking in, he was coming out, had a child I want to say like a teenager, a young teenager around 13, 14 years old. Didn't appear to be black, but didn't appear to be black, didn't appear to be white either. The child that was handcuffed, and he was handcuffed, she was handcuffed, I'm not sure. So I'm just gonna, say neutral.
They were handcuffed.
I would say okay, that. So they but they were handcuffed and put in the car and taken off. And then I seen the police car come back, the same police officer, while I was in the grocery store, kind of shopping or whatever the case may be. Anyway, I decided that it would be quicker if I went through the self-checkout because I only had a few things. Now, what I noticed was I was the only black person in line. It was two people ahead of me, and the other registers were full. I did notice too that they appeared to be, white. All the customers appeared to be white. The people that were ahead of me appeared to be white. And the person who was an older white man who was working for Big Y, who was, taking care of that section of the store, he also appeared to be white. So anyway, I'm standing in line. I'm behind these two people. My card is there. Their card is there, or whatever. But I turned around, and picked up something off of the, like a little display, or whatever. And this white older guy around the same age as the white guy that was working at Big Y, he got in front of me. So I said, I'm gonna see if he's going to, this has happened many a times before. This has happened many a times before. But I said, I'm gonna see if I just stay here, if he's just gonna, be audacious enough to just skip in front of me and go to the next open register before me, and and the whole nine. He did. Now, I didn't say anything on purpose. Because I wanted to see if anybody else was going to say anything, because they definitely saw it. They definitely saw what he did. Nobody else said anything except the guy that worked there. But this is how he did it. The customer, he skipped me, went before me, went over there. And the guy that worked there, around the same age as the guy that skipped me, he came over to me and he whispered, "I'm so sorry." He whispered, "I'm so sorry." And I looked at him and I said, "This happens all the time." I said, "This happens all the time." And he was like, "I'm so sorry. And then, another register opened up and, he was very kind. He was making sure that I was, good and I got taken care of, in all the right ways. But I don't know. I think I wanted to bring that up because I wanted to kind of unpack it. Kind of wanted to unpack it. Like, did I do the right thing by hanging back, seeing, what everybody else was going to do, or whatever, as opposed to, of course, speaking up for myself like I'm more than capable of doing, or whatever the case may be, and maybe even having to cause a scene, for it, or whatever the case. Or did I, did I do myself a justice by hanging back, but also just kind of watching everybody else, let this happen and not say anything?
Well, I'm looking at the chat comments. Listen, folks want to choose violence, right? I think, yeah, it is important to call it out when we see it. But then I think you're also navigating personal safety.
Yes.
Now, one of the important pieces when you started out with your story was that the police were outside.
The police was outside, and he was back. He was there. He was there.
And being in a space, okay, I'm not in my community, for one, which that's a whole nother topic, but we can touch on it a little bit. Why isn't there a grocery store in our community that is up to par? Because I feel like that's also the undertone. Like, why go to the Big Y in Wilbraham? And I've been to the Big Y in Wilbraham because they have a different selection of vegetables.
They do.
Something specific that I was looking for that's not in the closer Big Y.
Yeah.
Right. And so what do the grocery stores carry in our community? Somebody in the chat said they don't cater to our ethnic food items. And that's also true. Right. Ethnic food items in the aisle is like the black hair care aisle. And a lot of the stores you get this much.
Right.
So there's that. But also for the well-meaning white guy who needed to whisper. No, for our well-meaning allies, white allies, supporters, accomplices, strategic agitators, we need you to make noise and be loud, because your experience of disruption looks so much different than when we disrupt the things that are disrupting our lives.
Absolutely.
Right? I'm not trying to go to jail, but I'm also not trying to get cut in line. I'm not cutting anybody in line.
Right.
And the other guy knew exactly what he was doing.
Yes, he knew exactly what he was doing. I mean, I was still standing there when he walked in front of me, and I was like, is he really? I mean, that's like really bold and audacious. Yeah. And, and of course, he's doing all of this, trying to act like, he's innocent and whatever. It's almost like I felt later on that he was trying to provoke me. Like he was trying to get a reaction, out of me. And so, that kind of serves me in that way too, just thinking like, let me see if he really gonna do this. But then I was at the mall, with my son, and this is something that I've been aware of for all of my life. But it wasn't until I was certainly an adult that it started to, illuminate with me, if you will. And I noticed, like, me and my sons, which my sons are tall, slim boys. But anyway, me and my sons, we would be walking down the aisle, in the department store or whatever, and another family, typically a non-black, family. They don't necessarily have to be white. It's all groups that'll do this. They will act like we're not walking down the aisle too. And they expect for us to move out of their way. I noticed that, socially speaking. And I watched my boys to see if they was gonna move out the way, and they did. And so I had to, stop them and say, listen, we don't move out the way. No, everybody, if you see that they trying to move, then you move a little bit too. But don't let nobody treat you like you invisible, or whatever the case. And don't let nobody slam the door on you, or, or whatever, like you not coming behind them, or whatever the case may be. You call that out. But I noticed that mentality, that socialism, the way that we've been socialized, conditioned socially, that's still very much out there. And that's part of this anti-black attitude that everybody tends to have, So I don't know. I don't know, Tanisha. It's painful.
It's before we even get to the politics, our everyday existence is painful because of all of the micro and macro aggressions. And it looks like that. You're going to cut me in the line. You're going to ask me things about my person. You're going to follow me around the store. And we will, for self-preservation, move out of the way. I'm going to put my head down. I don't want any problems. I'm trying to make it home alive. Those are the things that are on us before we could even talk about anything political. It's part of this experience. Like when we talk about anti-Blackness and and what it is. I see a comment in the chat from Lisa talking about, challenging a store owner because all of the Black kids have to leave their backpacks outside of the store, but her son didn't have to.
See?
Right? What is that saying in that
What
experience?
is that saying? Right.
And can we come together and make decisions about maybe not going to stores like that?
Yeah.
Right? We can challenge the spaces and places, but at what cost? Somebody said, I got bail money. Yep, I'm with you. See, everyone's too violence today.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's necessary, right?
Yeah.
And we have to call it out and say something. I like the idea, like, yes, I do take up space.
Yeah.
And I will take up space. No, I'm not moving.
Yeah.
You can go around. I don't always have to go around you. And I agree with what you're saying. Like, if somebody's making that effort and they're trying to figure out, we're doing that little dance, like, which way are we going to get out of each other's way? That's fine. But there's this assumption on the part of non-melanated folks that we are going to defer. But that's our role. It's like,
It is. But Queen, we got to remember, these were my Black sons.
Yes.
I was with. And so I'm basically telling them, you don't move out of people's way. I can so easily see how, my 22-year-old son decides I'm going to keep walking down the aisle and people are not going to keep acting like they don't see me, pretending like they don't see me. I'm this big Black man, or whatever. He told me that people have ran into him, have literally ran into him, acting like, they didn't see him. But we also know that they can can do that, and then the next thing you know, he's being charged with assault.
Right. Yeah. And it's not that they don't see us. Like I'm 220, 6'1", they see me. It's like, you see me, right?
Yeah,
like I'm in this green hoodie. You see me.
Yeah,
you see me. I take up space. It's not that we're not seen. We're not valued. And again,
we're
it's
not
the
valued.
expectation, you're going to get out of my way.
Right.
And that's why the person who bumped into your son, probably in their mind, this obstacle is going to be out of my way by the time I get there.
Right.
Except it wasn't.
Right. But the thing is, I had to teach that to him. Where, we're conditioned to be polite. We're conditioned to, kind of move out of that. But my grandmother used to tell me actually, I remember it. I remember us being downtown several times, and we would be walking down the sidewalk, and my grandmother was this kind of oh my God, regal person. Like, she always dressed up, she always looked nice, she always looked like she had somewhere special to go, or whatever, and she dressed me like that. So here we are, we would be walking down, downtown, we would be walking down the sidewalk, but white folks, white children, white kids, white, just white people, we become, and she would automatically move out of the way. And that was not it's like what you said, that was a survival.
That's exactly what it is. I don't want to be a target. I don't want problems. And that socialization carries forward. Like you're talking, this is something your grandmother did. Even she dressed you beautifully. She carried herself regally, but still, I'm going to move out of the way.
I'm going to move out of the way.
I want to stay alive. And we over-index for all of those things to prove our humanity over and over again. And still have it stripped away in these other kind of ways. The chronic dehumanization of Black people, of Black women.
Right.
Again, anti-Blackness is global and it's not new. I think there's a deep history around the world, not just in this country, of anti-Blackness, the othering, the lesser than. And getting away from that is hard, not only because white people, but because the ways that we've internalized it as Black people and the ways that it shows up. Like, we don't spend enough time talking about what white supremacy and racism does to us in our communities. Why there are ancestral sayings like all skin folk ain't kinfolk. Why? Because the kinfolk feel that internalized oppression and they want to align with the oppressor to get relief from being oppressed.
Yeah.
That's what, like, why else would you do that? Because there's the perception it's better over there.
Yeah.
Instead of looking at this system,
That's
this
a
institution
lie.
is horrible. We need
Right.
to get rid of the systems and the institutions, but not align ourselves with being oppressive.
Yeah.
To our own selves and to our community.
And
'Cause there
hating
ain't
my
no way.
own
This was intentional. I love being a Black woman.
I
I'm
love
not a
being
woman
a
of
Black woman
color.
too.
I'm
I
a
love
Black woman. I'm
Listen.
Black. And there are cultural things about
I
that.
love
The
it.
way that you see me, like, I'm Black.
Yes.
That's it. All the other things are in there, but I'm
All the
Black.
others, right. You know, I don't care about the intersectionality. I'm Black.
Right.
And I'm proud to
the
be Black.
intersections
Absolutely.
matter. They do.
Yes.
I will not disregard them.
Yeah.
However, my Blackness
Black
is
first.
It determines how I
I'm
experience all of those other intersections of my identity.
Yes.
All of them are filtered
Yes.
through Blackness.
Blackness.
That's what someone immediately sees. I can't turn it off. It is the thing that determines everything else.
Mhm.
I've never been pulled over because I'm a teen mom. I've never been pulled over because I'm a lesbian. I've never been pulled over because of all these other intersection things. But you can
Because
bet
they don't know.
I've been pulled over because I'm Black.
Absolutely. I've been mistreated. I've been skipped in line because I'm Black.
Right.
I've been, you know, I'm invisible because I'm Black. You know, or whatever. And
or the expectations on my life are different because I'm Black. I'm a Black woman, and what that comes with in this country historically. And I can only imagine, like, I have daughters. I have a grandson now, but he in the cute baby stage, right? But when does he go from being cute baby stage to threat, right? So for my friends who have Black sons, prayers are different because that terror when they go outside, when they go outside, are they going to come home safely? Is somebody going to perceive them as a threat? Right? And we've got kids at 10, 11, 12 years old, and they're like 6 feet tall already. And you're like, that's my baby, but society's like, this is a grown man, he's a threat.
Yeah.
When did that happen? And so, we get out the way.
Like you said, it's the devaluing of our humanity. That's what they don't see, is our humanity. Which, you know, kind of leads me back to, you know, what, and I don't even like calling his name because, to be quite honest with you, I don't want to give him a lot of attention. But, you know, KW, you know, and, you know,
Donda's son.
Yeah, Donda. Okay, which I'm so glad that you said it like that, because I believe this with my whole heart, with my whole chest, like you would say. My whole chest. I would believe with my whole chest that if Donda was alive, he wouldn't be acting a fool.
No. Which
most of this stuff that he's doing right now, he wouldn't be doing.
No. And that can be on a number of things. Again, these intersections. If Donda was still alive, would he be acting this way? No, because that ache in his soul wouldn't be there because his mama's gone, and how he contributed to that in the ways, like with that surgery. Mama, you want to go have that surgery? Okay, they told you no in the United States, and then, you know, so I think there's the guilt about that. He already struggled with his mental health, and maybe his mom was the primary person who helped him manage that. She's gone. So there's all these levels of, like, would he be doing these things if she were here? And then also there's the part about, she was Africana studies, Black woman. Would her child be out here doing all these things? I'm like, I'm quite sure she's probably rolling in her grave right now.
Yes.
You know, but
my poor baby.
Right. What is happening and all of these different kinds of things. And I also want to make sure that we don't attribute everything that Kanye does to his mental health, because there are folks who struggle with their mental health who are not behaving that way. Those are choices that are linked to values, and the value could be whiteness. Yeah. Like falling into that, like, how do I
marrying a white woman, you know, having, you know, of course the children are innocent, so I don't want to, you know, necessarily bring up the children, but that, you know, that whiteness, you know, that what he defines or sees as whiteness, or being close to whiteness, or being accepted by white folks, or, you know, or whatever the case may be, having children by a white person, you know, whatever that, you know, it seems like that's where he's headed. I mean, because his self-hatred for hatred for Blackness, you know, is it's apparent. And it's it's hurtful. It's hurtful because, you know, Kanye West used to be the man for a lot of people in the black community. But it's like
he went from Katrina, George Bush hates black people. This is the same man that we're talking about.
That's the same man that, you know, was bold enough to say that in his presence, you know, or whatever. To, you know,
and
to
some switch.
Black Lives Matter on a black outfit that he so-called designed, you know, it's like I was like, okay, well, it's a good thing that they in trash bags because that's where it belongs, in the trash. You know, so I mean, it's just so many, you know, metaphors to the whole thing, honestly. So I wonder, you know, if he's at that point though, to where I guess he is willing to sell his soul to make some money, because, you know, honestly, the controversy, you know, translates into dollars for Kanye.
Right, and that's it. There, again, here's an intersection that we don't talk about enough, and that's the intersection of racism and capitalism, because it's very profitable to be racist and anti-black. Right, I just got this definition sent to me I want to share. Okay. Anti-blackness refers to actions or behaviors that minimize, marginalize, or devalue the full participation of Black people in life. The spectrum of anti-Black actions and behaviors spans from unconscious bias to motivated acts of prejudice. They include the tolerance or indifference to the underrepresentation, differential success, and advancement or experience of Black people in the university. So it's lots of things, and the fact I can make money on this. And that's also this is the rich man's trick, which we definitely don't talk about this, because if we did, we would spend less time fighting with each other. And again, looking at the folks who are benefiting from all of the things that are happening to us. If I'm rich and I'm participating in this, I'm going to get paid regardless of what you do. I'm going to get paid if you buy the Black Lives Matter t-shirt. I'm going to get paid if you wear the one that says White Lives Matter. Why? Because I'm the person that provided the t-shirts.
There you go.
What you know, that ain't my business. I'm making money. This goes back in history.
Yes.
World War I, II, war is profitable for both sides. I'm selling you uniforms. I'm selling you tanks. You get guns. You get bullets. I'm still getting paid.
I'm making some money.
Regardless of what you do. I can sell my clothes in trash bags. You still gonna buy it because you think it's right. We're talking about it. There are some people I cannot. I'm a sneakerhead through and through, but I'm sorry. Yeezys look like melted plastic.
Listen,
and they cost all this money. I'm not. No. Oh my gosh, you got these Yeezys. Nope.
No. How much do those shoes cost? How much do they cost?
Like $300, $400. It depends on the reset. Again, the capitalism. I could buy these. I was fortunate enough to get them when they dropped, and then I could resell them. So we're making money this way. And again, it's all tied to money, capitalism.
Yeah.
Well, it's profitable.
But those sneakers are atrocious. They are. I don't see how you can use them.
I've heard they're really comfortable, but are they really comfortable?
Can you use them like the play sports? Can you use them?
That's what I've heard. They're really comfortable. They're light. All the things.
But they look like they cost maybe about 20 cents to make.
They probably do.
Yeah, because I mean, aren't they plastic or
It's some foam, something.
Yeah, some kind of right. And
so Kanye's reached a place where Blackness isn't the thing, but the capitalism is. So we're in a class war right now, and that's important to know. And you could be a Black person and also be in this class war where you're in this oligarchy. We have oligarchies here, not just in Russia.
Oh, absolutely.
All of the rich folks. Kanye is part of the rich folks, and his rich identity supersedes his Black identity. And that's why you're getting this. When you get to these extreme, what color runs my life? Green.
Yeah.
At that point.
Right.
That's what you're seeing, at least from my vantage point. I think that's what it is, because regardless of what he does, the money is coming. Because some people are going to buy the White Lives Matter t-shirt, whatever the music is. He has reinvented himself. He's been a gospel artist, a rap artist.
Right.
He even got tithes at the church. All the money.
Yeah.
The money.
This is very interesting because one of the things, and now I realize why I asked the question. Because my son is like a rap artist.
Yeah, he is.
He's
He's
my
not
favorite.
like he is. He
No,
got
I'm
bars.
just saying he's not only is he's my favorite. Okay, he's my favorite artist. Music artist. He's so dope. I see the gift, in him. I saw it from the start when he didn't even know he had it in him. I seen all of that, and and so, but I'm thinking about that generation and their definition of success, right? I'm thinking about their definition of success. And I'm also thinking about, the weight that they carry as far as, right? Being an artist, but also being true, to their community and so on and so forth. And how, like, if you've been convinced, and I haven't even had this conversation with my son, but if you've been convinced that success is the music contract and and becoming a millionaire and or whatever, like the Kanye West, for instance, like he got a lot of money now, right? He got the music contracts early on in his I think he has his own music production company now, or whatever. But I think he, certainly had his music contracts early on. In other words, if you think that that's the way, you gotta go, right? But it's still what message is somebody like a Kanye West like sending to young artists like my son and and other artists and just black people who listen to his music or have listened to his music now, like the differences in the duality, because a lot of people are still supporting Kanye because, well, he got this much money and he on the Forbes list and he's like that's success. And I'm trying to like educate my sons and and people that I'm connected to that's money don't equate to success,
right?
Always, there's different levels of success,
right? Because Kanye, he has money. We could all agree Kanye has lots of money, but look at his life. Is he really happy? No. He has had tantrums on social media with the mother of his children. I don't know if they're married or divorced right now. He's not seeing his children. This will impact his children. Like I had one of my social media friends had commented like she cannot wait to read Northwest's book when she's grown. What are her experiences like? What is she going to say? This is her father and this woman is her mother and the dynamics in between.
Yeah.
Right? This black man and what his experience is and what he's showing and what his legacy will be.
Yeah.
Right? Like who he is as a person versus who he is as an artist.
Right.
And his struggles and that message that this is what matters. Mm-hmm. And I feel like and I gotta think about this in my brain to articulate it in a way that makes sense. It's like if you could attain success like this, financial success, that it would negate the experiences of blackness. If we don't have to talk about that, we can say white lives matter, which is the thing that the good Negro would say to appease master. Like, I'm safe here.
Yeah.
But what matters to Kanye is white lives. Like, I knew this of Kanye when Instagram first became the thing and he wasn't following anybody. He had lots of followers. And then he followed one person. And it was Kim Kardashian.
Oh, Lord.
The one person. And there was so much value placed on her. And if old Kanye rapped about these things, and it's like, this Kanye did exactly what old Kanye rapped about. As soon as he get on, he gonna leave you for a white girl.
Yeah.
The one that he talked about marrying in the music. I promise you, Mr. Rainey, I'm gonna marry your daughter. He didn't marry her. He left her.
Yeah. Yeah.
For the white girl. And we see in that value in whiteness. That's the thing that he's, then there you go. See? Yeah, I miss the old Kanye. But this Kanye has fallen into the trap, the internalized oppression, that value in whiteness. And is hitting that hard wall of that's not getting me anywhere. It's not getting me what I want to have because I've lost myself. I've lost community. I'm losing this connection with my children.
Right.
And is that successful? Those are the things that your money can't buy you.
Yeah.
Is Kanye happy? I don't think so. But he got lots of money.
Either. But he got lots of money. So
lots of money.
Yeah, and that's what, like I said, like I was trying to say, I'm not sure if I'm articulating myself correctly today, but it's just so much packed into, all of this anti-Blackness, even when it comes from one of our own,
Right. Because they, other white people have learned to hate us.
Right.
We aren't exempt from that too, because we see it and we internalize, like, these are the experiences that have happened. And it's almost like with children, when parents do something, the kids always think that it's about them, that there's something wrong with me. And it's never about the kids.
Never.
But the kids don't know that. And so us as Black folks, socialized in this from birth forward, there's nothing wrong with us.
Nothing.
The system is the problem.
Yeah.
And I'm not even going to say it's not broken.
The system spends a lot of
white supremacy and racism. Right. That's the disease. But there's nothing wrong with us.
Right.
And we've spent a lifetime, trying to figure out that we have worth and value that has nothing to do with productivity when we're coming from being bred literally for productivity.
Right. And that's why, sis, and I love the way that you put that. That's why I think myself, personally, I struggled with always feeling like I was good enough. In every space I've walked into, and with every accomplishment, I always diminished it because I never, right?
There's a reason for that too. Oh my gosh. So for the folks listening, right? Dr. Joy DeGruy talks about post-traumatic slave syndrome. You can look it up on YouTube. It's a presentation she did in London in 2008. And so help me, she could have did it this morning.
Come on.
It's still relative. It's still relative right now. And she talks about life on the plantation, the things, and it was an experience that she talked about with her next door neighbor. Both of their kids ran track, and the neighbor came over and was like, "Oh my gosh, your son, he's so fast, he's amazing." And she's like, "Yeah." She's like, "No, what are you talking about? He's amazing." So she pauses and has this moment of reflection, like, where does that come from? And then it hits her.
Oh my God!
The mother on the plantation.
Right.
You don't want master to know things about your child, that they could read, that they could run fast, that they were smart, that anything, because they could be sold off, they could be beaten, they could be killed. So that's why that boy dumb. That's for protection.
That is
we're
true.
Not on the when I heard it, I was like, because I've experienced this as a daughter and I've done it as a mother, and I was just like,
there you go.
Because how many things do we do that are rooted in our survival that we don't even know? It's the ancestral thing. Like, how do you know this? Because it just is, because that's how we survive. But we're not on that plantation anymore. But up here.
This is where the war is.
This is where you have to get free.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
oh my God.
That's how I treat them. We buy our way out of jail.
Yes.
But we buy freedom, and freedom looks like a lot of things.
It does.
Are you free in your mind?
Listen. I was in a meeting. Oh my God, I can't believe it's after 11 o'clock. Tanisha. Oh my God, we didn't even get to. Here we go again. One question, one thought, and we didn't even get to anything else. But I was in a meeting last week. I was in a corporate meeting, and so a question was posed to me about using certain terms, because I was in the process of developing a mission statement, right? I was in the process of developing a mission statement, and I was serving as, the chair of the committee. And so, but anyway, long story short, so I put in social and racial justice and whatever to inform my content. Long story short, corporate is like, I don't know if we want to, use that language. And so at first I was going to kowtow. I ain't gonna lie. I was gonna kowtow. And then, but the woman king in me rose up and said, if you're not willing to use the language, how am I supposed to believe that you're willing to protect me?
That that part.
Okay.
We don't have time for performance. We've talked about this, and they're beautiful. Listen, I'm not an actorist. I don't do performative things. We are going to do transformative stuff. I'm not wasting my time. I don't want your pretty words.
There you
I don't want your long apology. No. What I want from you is changed behavior.
Listen.
We're going to talk about DEI. That's nice. Yes, let's talk about it. But when we say diversity, equity, and inclusion into what? And usually that has meant inclusion into whiteness. I don't want to be included into whiteness. I want whiteness as a concept as it exists here to be dismantled, because whiteness isn't about skin color.
That's it.
Here, whiteness is about, I have a friend, it's the sick social contract. It's the things that you agree to do to be included in whiteness. If you are someone that is white adjacent, my Latinx folks, in order to agree to whiteness, you will take that vowel off the end of your name. You will give up your spices. You will give up all of those things about who you are in community and culture for whiteness, because whiteness takes that from you. Whiteness takes that from white people, right? If you immigrated to this country, you have some culture. Who were you before you were white?
There you go. So, but
that.
Right. So getting back to what you were saying about freedom, right? So she asked me a question about it. And so I said, I'm going to put it this way. I said, first of all, let me tell you, I'm not going to work on this committee if it's just going to be a figurehead, so you could tell other corporations that you have one, or whatever. Either it's going to be a legit committee, with some real power and authority to make some necessary changes, and to help dismantle racism here in this corporation, or else I'm not participating. Because if it's not elevating, I'm not participating, But anyway, so I said, I'm going to tell you like this. I'm no longer willing to work at an agency where I can't be the same person I am at home that I am at work. I said, I'm a Black woman at home. I'm a Black woman when I go to my church. I'm a Black woman when I'm out serving my community. And I'm not going to code switch when I get to work, So I said, and that's freedom to me. So for the first time, I had a corporate officer look at me and say, oh, I ain't never heard it like this before. So I'm going to end the show like this. She looked at me and she said, it was a virtual conversation just like we're having right now. And she looked at me and she said, oh my God, I get it. As a white woman, as a white queer woman, this is what she said. She said, you're saying to me that your presence is a revolution. I said, I absolutely am.
Yes.
I absolutely
am. Right. When we show up in our full authentic selves, it is a revolution. Thriving in this society as Black folks is an act of resistance. I know me showing up this way exactly as I am.
I am.
I'm tearing it all down. As I am. I don't fit into any of your molds. I don't want to. I'm unapologetically Black. And this is what my Black looks like. And I'm not rooting for everybody Black. Like, I appreciate it. Listen, I'm rooting for everybody Black that knows that they're Black.
That knows that they're Black.
Pro-Black. I'm rooting for everybody that's pro-Black.
And that's freedom. That's freedom. That's freedom to me. That's liberation to me. That's liberation to me. Absolutely. Listen, I hate to have to cut this off, we've talked about this, having an extension of the show. I do believe that that's coming up in our future, whatever the case may be. I think, people are saying that we need to have a show together, me and you anyway, or whatever. So listen, don't y'all play with us. Don't y'all play with Tanisha and Flo. Hey, Bishop. So any parting words, Tanisha, let the people know how to get in touch with you if they want to get in touch with you. Hey, everybody, I thought the phone lines was going to be open, but I'm sorry. When I get to talking to Tanisha, it'd be over. But, maybe she can come back soon and we can continue the conversation and we'll open up the phone lines so that you can join in on the conversation. All right. Tanisha, tell the people how to get in touch with you and Bishop. Parting words.
Yeah, so folks can get in touch. I invite you to check out the Arise website, www.arisespringfield.org. I am on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, so you can look for me there. It's TDOTARENA. That's T.Arena, and the same across the socials. I invite all the conversation. I'm here for the smoke.
Yeah. Tell them how to view your show, Unapologetic.
Oh, yeah. So I host a podcast called Unapologetic. It's through Holyoke Media. It's on iTunes and Spotify. So check that out, too. It looks kind of like this.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in the box. I'll have on the same shirt and I'll say all the things. Just like you just got Unapologetic Unfiltered right here.
Yeah.
So
I love it. Keep doing the great work too, and Queen. Keep doing the great work.
Me too. I love being on with y'all.
I know.
Bishop was my first inspiration. Like, dragging folks. I'm like, oh, I love it.
I've never dragged anybody, but
Oh, Cynthia, it's a magic feel. It's so great. It's so great.
I'm trying to get ready because I know one day they're gonna come for me too. So
don't come for me. Fine, for you. Don't come here.
Listen. All right, Bishop, parting words.
All right, hey, y'all said it all. Friday, check me out on the Black Love Experience on WTCC, and we'll also be here in the social media space as well at 9:00 a.m. And then, of course, again on Monday at 9:00 a.m. on the spoken word. We'll be back again, and Justice and Flow at 10 o'clock. So until the next time,
we're going to try to get some African drums and some bass in our outro and intro.
Okay, I don't know about all that, but until the next time we talk to you.
Tanisha. I want that sweatshirt.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Also, y'all got to remember Freedom Fund coming up. All right. Check it out. All right, we're out. Till the next time. Peace, love, and happiness. And all that good stuff.
All right, bye, sis. Love you.